Hi, Alessia. How have the last couple of weeks been?
So, like, life has turned upside down for the last more than like 2 weeks, and sometimes it seems to me that it's just a like nightmare, and I'm going to wake up soon.
I mean, you're saving lives every single day. I mean, I know you're part of Halo, so that's exactly what you signed up to do. I know that you're going to continue doing the work that is so desperately needed for Halo, for your families and for your country. How can we help? How can people help? What is the best way for people to help? Because there are so many people watching on feeling completely helpless.
Spreading the safety messages will help. The more people see them, the more people stay safe. You can donate to help our organization as well. That's also absolutely possible.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you for being so brave and being so amazing, and well done.
It's the least we can do. Thank you.
Keep doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep saving lives.
There's something about quiet leadership that makes certain people very uncomfortable. No fireworks, no palace balcony, no stiff choreography. Just a man, a laptop screen, and two women in a war zone. And that's exactly why this moment matters. Prince Harry, Duke of Sussex, didn't log into that call for spectacle. He logged in to listen, to thank, to amplify. In a world where so much of public life is performed, where every appearance is calculated for maximum visibility, where PR teams choreograph every handshake, this felt different. Because quiet leadership doesn't demand attention, it earns it. It doesn't need a stage, it needs sincerity. And in this call, sincerity is exactly what we got. Harry has been patron of the Halo Trust since 2019, taking over the role from his late mother, Princess Diana, who famously walked through an Angolan minefield in 1997 to bring global attention to the landmine crisis. That image of Diana in a protective vest became iconic. It showed the world that this wasn't just a distant problem, it was a human crisis requiring human action. Harry has continued that legacy, not through one symbolic walk, but through sustained, genuine support. He's visited Halo projects in Angola, Mozambique, and other countries. He understands the work, he respects the workers, and he shows up, not just when cameras are rolling, but when it matters. This video call to Ukraine is part of that pattern. It's not performative, it's purposeful. Let's talk about what actually happened on this call, because the details matter. Harry opens with a simple question. How have the last couple of weeks been? It sounds ordinary, almost casual. But context changes everything. This isn't a question asked over coffee in a safe cafe. This is a question asked to women working in an active conflict zone, in a country that has been living under bombardment for years now, where families are displaced, where entire communities have been shattered, where the ground itself can be deadly. In that context, how have the last couple of weeks been carries enormous weight. It's an invitation. It's permission to be honest. It's acknowledging that their reality is hard, and it's okay to say so. And when Alacia answers that life has turned upside down, that sometimes it feels like a nightmare she might wake up from, that's not rhetoric. That's trauma speaking. That's the sound of someone trying to stay steady in chaos, someone processing the impossible while still showing up to do impossible work. And here's what's crucial. Harry doesn't interrupt, he doesn't pivot, he doesn't try to fix it with a platitude, he doesn't make it about himself or his own experiences. He listens. Active listening is underrated, especially in conversations about trauma and hardship. The instinct for many people is to fill silence, to offer solutions, to redirect the conversation somewhere more comfortable. Harry doesn't do that. He creates space for Alacia to speak her truth, and that space matters. Because being seen and heard, truly heard, is its own form of support. Then Harry says it plainly. You are saving lives every single day. Not, you're doing great work, not, we appreciate your service, not, thoughts and prayers. Saving lives. Let's sit with that phrase for a moment. The Halo Trust is not a symbolic charity. It's not about awareness ribbons or fundraising galas, though those have their place. Halo is a demining organization. That means these workers are literally removing explosives from fields, roads, neighborhoods, homes. They're clearing the remnants of war so children don't lose limbs, so families can return home without fear buried in the soil, so farmers can work their fields without risking death. Demining is painstaking work. It is slow. It is dangerous. It requires extraordinary patience, discipline, technical skill, and nerve. One mistake, one moment of distraction, one miscalculation is catastrophic. These workers are not sitting in offices drafting policy. They are kneeling on dangerous ground, carefully uncovering hidden threats, knowing that their next move could be their last. So when Harry says you are saving lives every single day, he's not exaggerating for effect. He's stating a fact. Every landmine removed is a life potentially saved. Every piece of unexploded ordnance cleared is a child who won't be injured. Every contaminated area made safe is a family that can rebuild. This is concrete, tangible, life or death work. And Harry names it clearly, because that clarity honors the risk these women are taking. Then Harry says something that might sound dismissive if you don't understand the context. That's what you signed up to do. On the surface, that could be read as minimizing, like, well, you chose this, so deal with it. But that's not what he means, not even close. This is a veteran speaking to fellow service-oriented workers. This is someone who understands what it means to volunteer for dangerous work, to walk into harm's way because the mission matters more than personal safety. Harry served 2 tours in Afghanistan. He flew Apache helicopters in combat zones. He lost fellow soldiers. He knows what it's like to wake up every day in a place where violence is normal, where hypervigilance is survival, where the weight of responsibility is constant. So when he says that's what you signed up to do, it's not dismissal. It's respect. It's recognition. It's saying, I see you. I understand the choice you made. I know what that choice costs, and I honor it. There's a camaraderie in that statement, a shared understanding between people who have chosen service over safety. It's the language of veterans, of first responders, of anyone who has walked toward danger when others walk away. And in that moment, he's not speaking as a prince or a public figure. He's speaking as someone who gets it. That matters, because solidarity from someone who truly understands hits different than sympathy from someone who doesn't. And then Harry asks the most important question of the entire call. How can we help? Stop right there. That simple question separates performance from purpose. It separates celebrity activism from genuine advocacy. It separates people who want to be seen helping from people who actually want to help. Because it would have been so easy to just say thank you and log off, to post the video with a caption about bravery and move on, to treat this like a box-checking exercise. Instead, Harry turns the spotlight outward. What do you need? What can people watching actually do? How can we be useful, not just supportive? Marina answers clearly and practically. Spread safety messages. Donate if you can. Share information about the work Halo is doing. No grand asks, no unrealistic demands, just practical, grounded ways that everyday people can contribute. And this is where Harry's approach becomes a model for how to use a platform responsibly. He's not centering himself. He's not making this about his involvement or his family's history or his personal feelings. He's using his visibility, his millions of followers, his media access, his ability to command attention to amplify the work of people who don't have that platform. He's creating a bridge between the women doing the work and the people who want to support it. That's strategic. that's intentional. That's what real advocacy looks like. Then Harry says something that I think resonates deeply with so many of us. There are so many people watching and feeling completely helpless. Pause on that line, because he's absolutely right, isn't he? We live in an era of information overload. We see images of war, displacement, suffering scrolling through our feeds daily. We watch footage of bombed buildings, of families fleeing, of children in hospitals, and we feel small, powerless, overwhelmed. What can one person do in the face of such massive, systemic crises? That's a question millions of people are asking themselves right now, doom scrolling through headlines, watching footage that makes their chest tight, feeling the weight of global tragedy without knowing how to process it or respond to it. Harry acknowledges that helplessness directly. He names it, he validates it, and then he redirects it. Because helplessness is not the end of the story. It's a feeling, yes, a very real, very human feeling, but it doesn't have to be a permanent state. There are actions, small, tangible, concrete actions. Share safety information so more people in conflict zones know how to stay safe around unexploded ordnance. Donate to organizations like Halo if you have the financial means. Even small amounts add up. Amplify the voices of people doing this work so they're not forgotten when media cycles move on. Talk about these issues in your communities so they remain visible. None of these actions will end the war. None of them will single-handedly solve the landmine crisis. But collectively, they matter. They keep attention focused. They keep resources flowing. They keep workers like Alacia and Marina supported and safer. Harry is essentially saying, your helplessness is valid, but it doesn't have to be the final word. Here are ways to channel that feeling into something productive. That's leadership without ego. That's redirecting attention from emotion to action. Now, let's talk about tone, because the how matters as much as the what. There was no grand speech on this call. No theatrical pauses designed for headlines. No sweeping declarations about heroism or sacrifice that sound good in sound bites but ring hollow. The entire exchange felt human. Gratitude, encouragement, respect. Thank you for being so brave. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep saving lives. Yes, there's repetition in those phrases, but it's not scripted repetition. It's not a politician cycling through talking points. It's encouragement repetition. The kind you give someone who is exhausted but determined. The kind you give when words feel inadequate, but you need to say something anyway. The kind that says, I see you. I value you. Please don't stop. And Harry's delivery matched the content. His voice was warm, steady, genuine. There was no condescension, no poor brave souls in a faraway land energy, just peer-to-peer respect between people doing difficult things. And that tone matters enormously, because we've all heard public figures talk about humanitarian crises in ways that feel performative, where you can hear the PR coaching, where every word seems calculated for maximum emotional impact and minimum personal commitment. This wasn't that. This was a conversation between human beings who all understand, in different ways, what it means to serve something larger than yourself. Now, let's zoom out for a second and talk about media dynamics, because I think they're relevant here. In a media culture obsessed with outrage cycles and clickbait narratives, this moment is almost inconvenient, because it's hard to twist gratitude into scandal. It's hard to spin a veteran thanking humanitarian workers into controversy. It's hard to manufacture drama out of empathy. Trust me, if there was an angle to make this negative, certain outlets would have found it. They always do with Harry. But this is just good. Straightforward, sincere, unimpeachable.
And so it gets less coverage than it deserves. Not because it isn't important, but because it isn't sensational. Demining doesn't trend the way royal family feuds do. Life-saving humanitarian work doesn't generate clicks the way rumors and speculation do. Quiet, sustained advocacy doesn't fit neatly into hot take culture, but it saves lives. Every cleared field means a child can run freely without fear. Every removed explosive means a family can rebuild without hidden threats beneath their feet. Every safety message shared means someone in a conflict zone has better information to protect themselves and their loved ones. That's real impact, tangible impact, life or death impact. And that's what this call highlighted. Not Harry's public image, not royal family dynamics, not any of the noise that usually surrounds him. Just the work, the workers, the mission. There's something steady about the way Harry ended the call. Keep doing what you're doing. Keep saving lives. It wasn't flashy. It was consistent. And consistency in support matters, especially in long conflicts where global attention fluctuates wildly based on news cycles and what's trending. Ukraine has been in headlines, out of headlines, debated, politicized, dissected, forgotten, remembered again. Media attention ebbs and flows based on what else is happening in the world, what's generating engagement, what fits the current news cycle. But on the ground, the work continues regardless of media cycles. Landmines don't disappear when coverage fades. Unexploded ordnance doesn't care about trending topics. Families don't stop needing safe places to live just because the world's attention has moved elsewhere. The Halo Trust's work will continue long after cameras move on to the next crisis. And calls like this, quiet, unglamorous, genuine, remind people of that reality. They remind viewers that humanitarian action is ongoing, not event-based. They remind people that there are tangible ways to help, even when the news cycle has shifted. And they remind us that visibility can be used responsibly, not for self-promotion, but for shining light on work that deserves it. This is something Harry and Meghan have both modeled consistently since stepping back from royal duties. They've used their platform for sustained advocacy rather than one-off appearances. Mental health support, veterans' causes, humanitarian work, racial justice. These aren't photo op issues for them. They're ongoing commitments. And that consistency is what builds trust. That's what separates genuine advocacy from performative activism. We can't talk about Harry's work with Halo without acknowledging his mother's legacy. Princess Diana's 1997 walk through that Angolan minefield is one of the most iconic images of her humanitarian work. It brought massive global attention to the landmine crisis and helped build momentum for the mine ban treaty signed later that year. Diana understood the power of an image. She understood that her presence in that protective vest, walking carefully through marked paths in contaminated land, would speak louder than any speech. And it did. That single action helped shift public perception and political will. Harry has inherited that understanding, but he's applying it differently for a different era. Instead of one big symbolic moment, he's built sustained relationships with organizations like Halo. He visits projects, he meets workers, he learns the technical aspects of the work. He advocates consistently, not just when cameras are rolling. And he's adapted to how media works now, not through one carefully staged photo, but through authentic connections shared via video calls and social media. Different approach, same core mission, using visibility to save lives. That's a legacy worth continuing, and Harry is doing it in a way that honors his mother while being authentically himself. Sometimes leadership is loud. Sometimes it is quiet. This was quiet, and maybe that's why it feels powerful, because when the clip ends and the screen goes dark, what lingers isn't a headline. It's not a controversy or a talking point or a royal family story. It's that simple sentence. You are saving lives every single day. No spin, no embellishment, just truth. And in times like these,
Truth, spoken plainly, is its own kind of strength. So as you watch this clip, as you hear their voices, remember that behind every statistic are people doing this work right now. People like Alessia and Marina who are choosing courage every single day. And remember that even in chaos, there are individuals clearing paths so other human beings can walk safely home. That deserves attention. That deserves respect. And yes, that deserves amplification. If this moved you, consider supporting the Halo Trust. Share their work, spread their safety messages, keep Ukraine visible even when media attention fades. Because somewhere right now, someone is kneeling on dangerous ground, carefully removing a threat, saving a life. And that matters. Thanks for watching, everyone. If you want to see more content celebrating Harry and Meghan's meaningful work, subscribe to the channel. Let's keep spreading positivity and truth. Until next time, stay kind, stay informed, and keep supporting the work that matters. I'll see you in the next one.